Okie Show. Hello and welcome to the podcast that explores the heartlands entertainment industries. I'm Brian, and I am joined today by guest co-host Lainey Gilliland.
Host.
My other half, my happier half, my far more gorgeous half. Hello and welcome to the show.
That was literally the nicest thing that you've ever said about me.
That's right. You heard it here, folks. I am not kind most of the time.
No.
I had you join me for this little intro thingy because I thought that this particular episode is actually kind of relevant to me and you because you and I have played in a band for, 10 years?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we haven't played in a while, so I feel like it was a 10-year run.
10-year run.
Of adventures and mini shows and lots of fights and very stressful times.
And in the midst of that, falling madly in love and getting married.
No, I guess, the very beginning of the band, we got married. And then we were married.
The very beginning of the band, we were just friends.
Oh, that's right.
I'm having to remind my wife how we fell madly in love.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So we were just friends, and then we started dating, and then I was like, "Are we gonna get married? Are we gonna get married? Are you gonna marry me?"
And I finally said, "Fine." And I said, "Do you?" And she said,
"I guess."
I suppose.
Well, now that you said yes, the chase is over.
Well, boo.
Yes, and now we've been very happily married. But I mean, it was rough. I was tired all the time.
Well, it's actually kind of interesting. Like being in a band, like on its face is tough, and there's a lot of challenges. But then being a band and also being a married couple and sharing the stage together. When you're both attention whores.
So listening to this interview, I'm just like, you guys are so sweet. And
they're so much better than us.
Cool and collected, and they love each other.
And they made it work.
So much, and their songs are incredible. I mean, we had a lot of fun.
We had a good run.
But it was fun, and I mean, it was super bonding for us, but after a while, like, we just got so tired. And like we haven't played shows in a couple years now, and like in that amount of time, the landscape has nearly completely changed. There's new technology and stuff. So during our conversation with the Imaginaries today, we kind of talk about that, of like all the different avenues, because in this weird COVID world that we find ourselves in, you can't exactly have live shows anymore. Can you imagine? Oh my
being in Ofidelis and trying to like maintain and not being able to play shows.
I probably would have thrown in the towel then and been like, well, that's it.
I guess it's a sign from God.
We're done.
It was a good run.
So they're a Christian band, correct?
They are a band of faith, that is true.
I love that. There needs to be more of those. I'm sorry, that just made me so excited. I was just like, my people, yes, so yay.
Yay. And their music is phenomenal. We're going to listen to 2 of their tracks on this episode, and it's just a jolly good conversation.
Well, and they're adorable.
They're totes adorbs.
They're ridiculously adorable.
Yeah.
Like, I want to clunk their little heads together and be like, stop being so adorable, guys.
I mean, we tried, but we failed. Everyone was like, ugh.
What's wrong
this
with them?
This Ofidelis band, ugh.
Why do they look so angry and tired?
Why do they look like they hate each other?
I will say, that was a long test for us. But then, like, we really found our groove and, like, started... having fun, and then we just got too busy to keep up with it.
And then we started adulting too much,
yeah. And then we, unlike them, cannot handle the adulting and the music. It's one or the other with us.
Balancing is hard. It's hard. So I have, like, mad respect for these guys for what they're doing and maintaining, not only are they maintaining their music just in general, but they're freaking releasing an album here pretty soon, and it's going to be amazeballs.
It really is good. Like, wow. Wow.
Well, let's create no more anticipation, shall we? And go to our conversation with
you just made me snort.
With the Imaginaries. So I'm here with the Imaginaries. How's it going, guys?
It's doing great.
How are you?
Doing fantastic. We're conversating through the wild new technology of Zoom. This is kind of the new norm for Okie Show until, the world stops exploding. So thank you guys for giving me some of your time so we can talk about all the crazy stuff that's going on. You guys have a new album that's going to be dropping pretty soon, which I'm very, very excited about. Can you tell us a little bit about that album?
Sure. So the songs were recorded in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And backing up before that, we got to be a part of a really awesome series called the One Mic series in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And that's kind of what really kick-started the Imaginaries project.
Yeah.
Kind of put us into gear because, Shane and I have both been solo artists for over a decade. We've been married now for 8 years. And so the Imaginaries is something that just really naturally happened. And we had this collection of songs that we had written together, and they did not really belong on Shane's projects or mine. And we started to realize quickly that this was a new special project. So after we did the One Mic series, we went back to Muscle Shoals. We recorded the album that was funded from Kickstarter. Thank you, everyone who supported us with that. And it's been a long process, lots of ups and downs, lots of starts and stops along the way. But in a nutshell, we have now released 2 of the singles off the album. I actually have it right here.
Woo!
To give a little bit of backstory on what the One Mic series is. The One Mic series was our good friend John Cunaberti. He's an engineer in the Bay Area, has worked on just numerous who's of records. You can look him up on AllMusic. He's an engineer and producer and mixer, very talented guy. And he started this thing called the One Mic series when he was having some conversations with some engineer and mixer friends, and he said, I think it'd just be really cool to go back to making records with one mic. And they were like, well, that's not possible. You can't do that. Well, artists did it in the 40s and 50s, they did it all the time. That's all they had, And so he adapted this way of using this ribbon microphone and placing a band around that mic it took us maybe 2.5 hours to get the placing and volume right, because essentially where the guitar amplifiers were, where everybody was placed at was the mix of the song. Essentially, I'm a louder singer than Maggie, so I had to stand back a little further from the mic. So anyway, through this whole process, it turned out so cool. And we just the 2 of us went down. We brought actually our friend Reagan Elkins, who directed Revival, with us. He did a bunch of filming and kind of captured the whole process for us, and sort of captured our Kickstarter video. But just going through that whole experience and getting to make music like it's really intended to be made, I don't know. There's so many ways you can be creative now, but there's something to be said for playing music in a room with other musicians. It's just raw and real and cool. And so we decided we were going to go back to Muscle Shoals to make this record because of that experience.
Yeah. So. And, we've released 2 of the singles now. Thinking About You and Revival just came out.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it's brand new. And so you want to tell them a little bit about our starts and stops?
We've had it's funny because everybody's like having the 2020 has not been the perfect vision year for most people. I've seen that little goofy post, but 2019 was tough for us because we were sort of right at the mixing stage of this record. We were finishing it up, and almost exactly a year ago, it was June 20th of 19. We were in this room in the studio, and I started feeling horrible, beyond horrible. And I was like, I think I need to go to the doctor now. My side hurts. And, within the course of 4 hours, I was going into surgery, getting my appendix removed because it had blown up inside my body.
Whoa!
So unfortunately, there wasn't enough time to really think things through. My studio is actually set up at my mom's farm, which is between Verdon and Anadarko, out in the country. And so they took me to the closest hospital, which was the Grady Memorial Hospital, and they almost killed me. So yeah, it was bad.
Just a little damper on the year.
Yeah. it is what it is. But my experience wasn't well, and my recovery was horrible. 4 or 5 days after the surgery, I got an infection in the wound, and then had to go back in. Stitches had to come out, and I had to go into basically from that point forward, I had to do wound care for 5 months.
Yeah.
And it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And so we kind of came out of that season, and around November, I was feeling pretty good again. And we got this opportunity. We got a phone call and got an opportunity to open for Brian Setzer for his holiday tour, which we were just so stoked. Coming out of this crazy 19 was just weird for us because for about 4 months, I didn't even pick a guitar up because I was so sick.
Wow.
So we come into this new season. So we recorded a couple new Christmas songs. We put together sort of a compilation of other Christmas music that we had previously recorded as Shane Henry and Maggie McClure before we had sort of, stylized the Imaginaries and really figured out what that was. And so we thought, we've got this new record. We're going to go on this Brian Setzer tour. We want people to know who we are. So we're the Imaginaries. So we get this new record all done and ready to go. And 3 days before the tour kicks off, which was supposed to kick off in Minneapolis on November 15th, we got a phone call from his manager that said, we don't know how to tell you guys this, but unfortunately, the entire tour is canceled. And we're like, what? Yeah, the entire tour is canceled. Why? Brian has a severe case of tinnitus and he can't perform.
Whoa.
So 3 days before this thing hit, which, at that point we'd already printed, they told us that his crowd was like a big merch buying crowd. So, we went to town, man. We had 1,000 t-shirts printed. This is 34 shows. We're trying to do the numbers on what we might move through that course of that time. And so we had 1,000 shirts printed. We had 5,000 CDs printed. We had, all kinds of stuff.
We had rented a Sprinter van.
Yeah, rented a Sprinter van.
Got a manager from Denver.
So, for lack of better words, it was just basically like getting kicked really hard in the nuts.
Yeah. So the credit card is maxed out.
Completely maxed out. And we're sitting there looking at each other going, what do we do now?
Because
oh, gosh.
Typically the holidays are one of our busy seasons, and so we had turned down tons of gigs.
Not turned down. We had 6 really great paying gigs that we canceled to go on the tour. So we did just like any artist would. We started hustling those gigs back up, and we were able to actually get some of the gigs we canceled back. And then some. And we got a couple of corporate clients that we did some Christmas parties for. And, we made the most of the season, but we certainly weren't able to move any of that merch and even come close to recouping what we spent for the tour.
Yeah. So after that, we were like, okay, let's reset again here with this release campaign.
Well, I went out to NAMM in January, and it was kind of cool because I was walking down one of the aisles and at NAMM, and I got this guy tapped me on the shoulder, and it was actually Brian's manager, which we'd only communicated through email and phone calls. And so I got to hang with those guys and with his management, Surf Dog Records, and they were super cool. And they were like, hey, just want to let you guys know that when Brian's well enough to do the tour, which we are planning on 2020, it's happening. We still want you guys to come out and open. Well, because of COVID, the 2020 tour is not happening.
Yeah, it's just man.
Not only did we lost the tour because he got sick the first year. Now we have a pandemic. We lose it the second time.
First, it's the appendix. Then it's tinnitus. Then it's a global pandemic.
Maybe the third time will be a charm. 2021.
Yeah.
But rolling into this year, Maggie had to have a little surgery that we kind of knew we knew it was coming. So she did that, and then we knew, okay, well, by March, she'll be healed up and ready to go. And so we started booking tons of gigs, and we had, I don't know, maybe 25 gigs already on the books.
Yeah.
Every one of them canceled.
Oh, my God.
And, and another thing, too, which to add insult to injury, in the past couple of years, just from touring and traveling, we always stayed at Airbnbs traveling. So we purchased a couple of duplexes that we converted to Airbnb properties. Well, try to be a host in the COVID-19 world. It was like one cancellation after another.
Right.
So just been a tough year all around to try to, make a living and make things work.
Yeah, but all that to say, we still don't have an actual release date for this.
Mm-hmm.
But we, are super excited to have finally move forward with releasing Revival. And depending on how the next couple weeks go,
Right.
we're going to reevaluate and try to figure out what the next move is. And probably the next move will be releasing another single with a music video. And
Beautiful.
Just trying to figure out if we should release the whole album this year or consider waiting until next year. I mean, there's also the thought of, since no one's touring right now, everyone is going to be touring next year. And there's going to be less opportunities than normal.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, think of all the like bands that are going to be trying to go on the road because.
Oh yeah, everyone's playing catch up.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be interesting. I think that it's also going to probably drive prices down. You know how it is when it's like, it's just like gas. There's too much gas, the price goes down. So. Who knows? But
yeah, we'll see. But
we're kind of taking that like well, and it's also interesting too because Brian Setzer's manager said, I think you guys should just go ahead and move forward with it. And but if it were me, I would release every song with a video because we live in this sort of world now where if you come out with just this huge piece of creative art and you release it into the world, then 2 weeks later people are going to go, well, what's next?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You don't realize that it costs a ton of money and took a ton of time. It took a lot of planning and took a lot of work to record these 12 tracks that we've got here. So I think we're taking that sort of approach of just releasing a song and a video as, maybe one a month or one every other month kind of thing. And we'll figure out where the right climate is to release this thing and then we'll go ahead and put it out.
Yeah. That's so smart. I love how strategic you guys are on the business side of this because it's kind of what I've noticed is that that's kind of like the part that very few people think about whenever they're starting out of like, we just want to play music.
Sure. And that's just it.
Yeah.
Right.
But you got to be strategic.
I can speak for Maggie and I. I mean, 10 years ago, we were both in that same exact shoes. I mean, we were all 100% creative when we were making records and excited about the music and writing. And then not really having that vision to sort of look at an album like it's, you're recording and making an album, but then what are you going to do with it once it's done? You got to have a plan for that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just get out there to people without that plan. So we've been able to, over the last 3 years with releasing new music, we've refined it on our last 2 solo albums. And I think now we've really figured it out to a point where we did things we didn't know about before,
Yeah.
And so you want to elaborate on some of those things that we're doing?
Yeah, I mean, we've learned a lot with all of our past releases. Every time we release an album, we learn something new. We learn, we didn't really need to do that, or we shouldn't have done that, or man, why didn't we do this? So I've released 4 or 5 albums on my own, and so has Shane. And then we've released many Christmas projects together. So everyone we're learning more and more. With the release of Revival, we're like, okay, we're gonna do this right, and we're gonna take the time it takes. So that's what we did, and I'm so happy to say that I feel so confident and like just glad and grateful that we took the time to figure out every piece that needed to be in this puzzle at the right time.
Right, and I'll just jump in there because it's not, you can do all these things and it still may or may not work, but you're at least setting yourself up for the opportunity for growth to happen versus just getting that record done and going, you know what, I'm going to go in TuneCore right now and post it up.
Yeah.
And it's like, my single's out, one blast on Facebook and that's it,
Yeah.
So we are working with a publicist. We're working with some social media marketing people.
Music video promotion team.
Exactly.
Yeah, just going at it from all angles and just trying to make as big of an impact as we can. And we're excited to say that, even after just a few days of the single and video being
out, starting to get a little buzz on Spotify.
Yeah.
Over 5,000 plays in a couple of days, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Little deal.
It's awesome. It's very exciting. So we feel very encouraged through it all. And I mean, just things like simply, building up to the release as much as possible, like creating that suspense, like, we can't wait to come out. So starting 6 weeks out is when we started promoting the single release.
Right.
And every day, some kind of post coming at it from a different angle. And I do all of our social media posts and everything. So, just learning from what other people are doing, trying to engage people as much as possible. And, you know, being a part of, you know, this culture where everyone's on Facebook Live doing shows has also been really good because, you know, for the first 2 months of the quarantine, we were doing a show from this room at least once or twice a week. And so not only were we connecting with you know, our existing fans, we were reaching people all over the world who always wanted to come see us play but never got the opportunity to, or B, brand new people that didn't know about us, and now they do, and now they're super excited about what we're doing. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and it's been really neat to watch, like through all the you know negative side of the COVID situation and all that. It's been really cool seeing musicians kind of adapt and like you were just saying, reach audiences you never thought you possibly could have with a live show. That's just so cool. What a neat positive side effect of such a weird situation.
You know, 10 years ago, this didn't exist. I mean, I don't know how long it's existed, but it's not been that long where you could play a show. You got somebody from Rome tuning in that's one of your super fans now.
Isn't that awesome?
2 a.m. so they could see your Facebook Live. I mean, that's pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and it's really cool that we can interact with people too during those one-on-one. And, you know, they get to ask questions and we're talking to them, you know, live on camera. And, you know, that's a different experience than a live show as well. So it's just kind of opened up some new territory. It's been really cool.
That's so cool. Well, I want to introduce the audience, the listening audience who have never experienced the Imaginaries before, to your music video Revival. Can you guys kind of set this up for the audience?
Sure. So we're so excited about this video. It just came out and just had its Oklahoma premiere at Dead Center Film Festival. And yes, so exciting. We got to see it on the big screen at Scissortail Park the other night, and it was just a really surreal and awesome experience. This song is a song of hope and salvation. It's about leaving old ways and habits and hindrances in the past and looking forward and moving toward better things and a brighter future. And we worked with our dear friend Reagan Elkins, who directed this video. We came to him with the idea, with all of our crazy ideas, and he is so awesome because he was able to work with our budget and make this happen exactly how we had always pictured it, and do it justice and not say, oh, I don't know about that, I don't think that's gonna work, but just really going, okay, let's figure it out. And again, that process in itself took a long time to figure everything out.
Yeah, we spent maybe 3 months on the writing for the video and just
pre-production for the video alone.
Really getting that all tightened up and getting the storyline figured out.
Locations figured out. We filmed all over the state. We filmed in Guthrie at the Publishing Museum, which you see at the very beginning. We're having our bank robbery scene, and then Sid.
Which, by the way, you guys robbing a bank with masks was very topical.
I know. It was
very forward thinking.
I know. We kind of it's interesting now. I guess anybody can do that now. Just walk into Walmart and rob it.
Anybody can rob a bank now.
Just cross my mind that you're saying that, because like it's super easy now to like steal someone's credit card and then just go charge it up because no one can see your face.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. Yeah, it's very convenient.
Think of that? I mean,
all those criminals out there that are robbing banks, they're like, finally, our time has come. They'll never know.
Ideas, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, we filmed in Guthrie. We used our friend Sid's amazing 36 Ford in the video. Shout out to Sid. We filmed in Enid at the Simpsons Old Time Museum, which
place is super cool.
So cool.
That's our saloon scene.
Was shot in there. And then we also filmed at the Oklahoma Railway Museum in Enid as well.
And then
Heck
a lot of in Medicine Park as well.
Yeah,
my dad has a house down in Medicine Park, so we filmed this creek scene. We actually originally filmed it down at Turner Falls, but the water was just like so blue. It didn't fit right with the rest of the vibe. So I was like, let's go down to my dad's place because he has this cool just creek that just felt right, you know. And so we just that's cool to me seeing in the video when the song starts. That's where we're at.
Yeah. So we filmed all across the state, other locations as well. A few things like in Shawnee, Anadarko.
Just random stuff.
Random spots.
Yeah. But all Oklahoma.
But all Oklahoma. And we had an all Oklahoma cast and crew. We had quite a few people working with us on this. It's definitely the biggest production for us that we've done so far for a music video. And so what we did is we filmed for 4 days, and then we realized we kind of needed this backstory. So that intro that you see is
was all actually recorded after the music video was done.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And we realized that it didn't quite pull it all together to make as much sense without it. So
we
cool.
needed that intro to show everybody our past lives. And that's when we brought Johnny Cornyn to play the villain, and he is amazing. He's got this like evil laugh, and it's just epic. And he's the sweetest guy you've ever met too.
Yeah.
He's the nicest. You're the nicest bad guy I know.
So,
all those guys that play bad guys, they're always super sweet. It's very confusing.
Anyways,
well, that's awesome, man. All right, well let's take a listen, shall we?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right, so this is Revival by the Imaginaries.
Wash away my worries till they are no more. Fill me with your mercy and love forevermore. Wash away my worries till they are no more. Never to be seen again no more. No more. Preacher told me there gon' come a day. Keep on walking down that narrow way. People chasing money on their mind. Always working, spent for all that time. Hey, we're on to something. Hey, we're gonna set it right. Hey, there's no tomorrow. We just gotta live
for the Okie Show is provided by the Oklahoma Film and Music Office, presenting the Woody Fest Songwriting Workshop, Saturday, July 18th at 1 p.m. Songwriters and aspiring songwriters are invited to tune into Zoom to hear from Ellis Paul, a veteran Woody Fest performer and a seasoned singer-songwriter and folk musician. Registration is $24 and closes at noon on Friday, July 17th. Find out more at okfilmmusic.org.
Y'all know me. Know how I earn a living. I'll insure this bird for you, but it ain't gonna be easy. It's tough production. Not like going down to the film school and having Mom and Aunt Gilly supplying the catering. This show, swallow you whole. No sinking or tenderizing. Down you go. You shoot it quick. It's not gonna be pleasant. Now, Outgate is a commercial insurance broker with film and entertainment expertise headquartered in Oklahoma. It means you get the Oklahoma film rebate and local people available anytime you need them. Thing about this director, he's got black eyes, like doll's eyes. His last show, 100 men started production. Only 23 came out. Meal penalties took the rest. Outgate Insurance. Our website's at oklahoma-film.com. They place annual policies for producers of all types. Post-production E&O, specific film project policies for budgets of all sizes. And they work with musicians too. Place an insurance for gigs and events of all types. No matter what's your budget, whether it's $5,000 or $15 million. Outgate Insurance can toss you a lifeline. And they can also find you coverage for post-production errors and omissions. You're gonna need it in order to get your film distributed. I'll cover pre-pro, production, post, the whole damn thing. Call Outgate at 918-574-4455 for your movie's production insurance. That's 918-574-4555, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Quint. We'll take it under advisement.
I'll never wear a life jacket again.
So you guys have been doing a fantastic job working with the technology of today that, like, I feel I've been out of the game for, I want to say, like 5 years at least. And within that 5 years, so much has changed as far as ways, like opportunities and methods that you can market your stuff. And like especially the live, playing live on, Facebook Live and all that kind of stuff. What are some tips and tricks that you would give people that are wanting to, do this themselves?
Sure. Well, I would say that the best thing you can do is just start doing it. Once you get going, it becomes easier. For us, the first time we did it, it was a little stressful because you're just kind of overthinking everything and like, what should we say? What should we do? And,
well, it's also, you're used to getting, like, coming from somebody who's performed a lot and used to playing in front of a crowd of people and getting some sort of connection. You don't get that out of looking at an iPhone on a clip stand.
It's different.
It doesn't get any emotion at all. So you're playing a song to it. And so, yeah, it's just adapting to that and figuring out how to get that energy in the comments and things like that.
Yeah. Getting in a flow, and every time you do it, it gets better, it gets easier, you get more comfortable. And I would also say that, Shane, he told me, he was like, hey, some of our favorite venues in LA and New York are having people on from their studio, which they normally don't do, but they're doing right now because obviously their venue is shut down and they still want to continue live music. Mm-hmm. So reach out to them. And I was like, okay. So I reached out to a few of our favorites, Hotel Cafe in LA and Rockwood Music Hall in New York. And they both had us on like the week that I reached out.
No, so we did concerts from their social media page, which they have a huge reach. So again, another way to connect with more people and just, which is kind of cool. We support those venues and they were having a tough time with, keeping their staff paid up and things like that just because they can't do concerts. So they have no revenue.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what the future holds. Because like Okie Show, we're associated with the Tower Theater, and times are not easy right now. So
But I think it's going to come back strong when it does. I mean, I think that like this idea of playing internet concerts it's great and it's working right now. But I also think that people are really going to miss that connection of being in a moment, being in front, being, whether it's, being at a small music venue like the Blue Door or being at the Tower or wherever. I mean, I think when live shows are able to come back, I think people are going to really see some giant crowds at shows, because I think it's just, we all need music, man. I mean, it's something for the soul. So I think we're all missing that,
And although the online streams are great, it's still not the same. And it's not the same for the audience or the artist. So yeah, I agree. I think there will be a big comeback for sure.
Yeah. How do you think that affects you guys playing, like for you, what's the biggest difference between playing a live thing to a camera versus playing to a full audience?
Oh man, well, there's a lot of differences. I think for one, like we're thinking like a production when we're in here. We've got lighting, we've got the camera, we've got
instrument. I'm doing setting everything up.
The studio stuff, and then what are we gonna say? Are we gonna bring someone in? Are we gonna talk about this? Things that we normally wouldn't do at an actual live performance.
I just wanted to play my music.
A live performance, you can kind of put a set list together and just cruise on down that list, and not be too concerned with consistently being engaging about every little detail.
Yeah, I mean, grab those real quick.
Oh yeah.
For example, this is from our show on Friday.
But just keep in mind, my wife is the most organized person you'll ever meet.
This is
right.
Our bullet.
This is what she does.
Holy crap.
What she does for a Facebook Live.
Oh my goodness. So for the listeners that can't see, he's holding up 3 pages worth of notes here that look very intuitive.
Favorite topics to touch on, things we're going to talk about.
Just to make sure we don't forget things. Right. And of course that's off camera so people can't see it, but it really helps us stay on track. And then obviously just the experience is different. When we get through playing an online show, it still kind of feels the same as in we just, played and it was really awesome to get to do that and share music and interact with people. But in a different way. Obviously, no one's here to talk to you after the show. There's not live energy of a crowd like Shane was talking about. We're joking because a few of our friends, they have like this applause button that they'll push after every song. We need to get one of those.
This is the best we can do right now.
We'll look at each other. We're like, oh, that sounded good. Cool. What's next?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? I mean, sound, obviously, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, just in general, there's more tech side of doing internet, like the internet thing, than there is, like, if you play a club show, you got a sound crew that are taking care of all that. You're thinking more in terms of the artist and being a musician, more or less. In this world, you got to wear about 5 hats.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's kind of where the industry is going to be going more? Because, like, I think of bands like Pomplamoose where they, like... You know what I mean? Like they put so much time and effort into their video productions and stuff. Like now it almost seems like you can't just be a musician. Now you got to be a filmmaker, a sound engineer. You got to do all these things. Stand-up comedian. The
guy's really, really creative and really smart. Yeah, Jack's smart. I think he started Patreon. Actually, he's one of the co-founders of that.
Really?
Which was genius. Yeah, I mean, so he's definitely one of those sort of guys that's forward thinking. I think he does another thing now that's like I can't remember what it's called, but he has another side project band that does that just gets together with different artists and they do cover songs but they just do them in a really cool way. And yeah, he's a creative dude, and I think he's one of them that's really figured out how to make it work for sure.
Yeah, I think that even before the coronavirus was here, we've noticed in the past 5 years really that you do have to be able to wear like 12 different hats, and being an independent artist these days, you have to be a great musician, you have to be a great singer, you have to be a great songwriter, you have to be a great performer. Okay, that's all one area. Then
you got to be able to produce your music and do it really well and make it all sound like a hit record. And then you've got to be able to do video content.
Yeah, great videos. And then you have to be able to market. You need to know the business side of things as well. Savvy with that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So it's all very important. And
understanding how to pitch your single to Spotify editors, and realize that there is no company out there that really pitches artists to Spotify. You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it yourself, artists. You're just learning those things.
Yeah. There's a lot to learn, and it's constantly changing too. So we're constantly learning and relearning. And we don't have a manager or anyone really. It's just us and our publicist, Julie, who's amazing. And right now we do have a little larger team since we're releasing Revival. But as far as the day-to-day stuff, it's the two of us doing everything. And now with COVID, I would say that you even have to do even more because everyone is now doing all of that and then some. So you have to keep up with everyone else. It's definitely different than it was, even 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, for sure.
And that's why I personally could not do what you guys do now. Because I don't have enough brain space to handle everything anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I can honestly tell you that if it wasn't for Maggie, we would not have the online presence that we have because I just don't have the fire and drive to be on social media 24/7. It just sucks sort of energy out of me. So what's cool about us though is that we the areas that like I'm terrible at, she's awesome at, and so we work well in that regard. Like the production, the creative side of things, mixing, all that stuff. I handle all those tasks for us. So, but she's to blame.
It's all her fault.
It's all your fault.
Well, and it's great that you guys do a really great job of balancing those responsibilities, and you're a married couple. You're a married couple musical duet, which, speaking from experience, that's not easy. My favorite thing about like whenever my wife and I would be on the road and stuff is like, if you take yourselves out of the music side of it, what's the time that you get most bent with your significant other than being on the road together?
Yep.
Yeah. It's great. Our violin player would have to play referee between the two of us.
Gosh, love it.
Oh, man.
Well, man, it makes me think back to like the first time we tried to write a song together. And we were back when we were dating too.
We just started dating.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just like learning to go, okay, we're not in boyfriend-girlfriend mode. We're in creative mode. So, I would have to just learn. I mean, I'm just a very like kind of straight shooter type personality. So I think something I speak it. And that's not always a good way to be when you're co-writing with your girlfriend.
Right, yeah.
We're sensitive about, well, she's really holding on dearly to that idea. And that idea means a lot. And you just crushed your soul because you said it sucked. So we just had to learn to be able to sort of set our emotions aside and really just know that we're both working hard to create art that is meaningful and that speaks to people. So I think it took us a little while to
it has, and it has taken a long time. I mean, we've been making music together now for over 10 years, is that right?
Wow.
Probably over 10 years in terms of, I don't think we really started writing heavily until we moved to LA.
Yeah.
When we moved to LA, our co-writing together really started coming into fruition because we would do a lot of co-writes with another artist. So it'd be the two of us with another artist, and maybe we're writing for their project. And so just doing that a lot, then, when we would take them out of the equation, it was like, oh, well, we can do this together now. Just, have to kind of feel like it's more of an assignment and not so much just putting the emotions on the line.
Sure, exactly. Yeah, but it did take a lot of time. I mean, we argued plenty of times in the beginning stages of writing together, performing together, recording together, all of it. But there at that time it was distinctly Shane Henry or Maggie McClure. So there was also that too, because when it was our solo project, he was in charge of his stuff. He had the final say, and I was in charge of my stuff, and I had the final say. and sometimes, you know, that created some conflict. But with the Imaginaries now, it's been a very interesting process, because for the longest time we were both the front person, you know, and now we're sharing that. And it's actually been really nice, because it kind of has lifted the pressure a little bit. And not that we knew it was there before, but it's just been easy. It's been a really cool experience to get to share it together. And there's something nice about sharing, you know, ideas and decision making, and not everything riding just on you.
Yeah.
So it's been cool.
That's awesome. What advice would you give to other couple bands, boyfriend girlfriend bands and stuff? Like, how do you keep from hating each other?
Well, you know, we really
get a good counselor.
Yeah,
right.
Get a good counselor first.
Yeah.
And learn to keep your mouth shut at certain moments.
Pick your battles.
It's hard to do when you're in a writing session, but I think you just need to be able to like know going into a writing session that you're going to be creative, and the point is to write a song, and the point is to be creative, and whatever that goal or vision is, know that, and be able to put ideas out, or, you know, say, you know, I'm not feeling that idea. What about this? And not be able to get offended until you at least see what could come from the song. There's been many times when I wasn't digging an idea in a writing session, and I went with it. I said, okay, I'm going to go with it. You know, I give it a shot. And then by the time we're 30 minutes to an hour in, I'm loving the idea. So that sometimes happens. And, you know, that's the whole creative process, I guess, in a nutshell.
Yeah. But I'd say, you know, we have been on the road a lot together. We started touring together in 2009, very actively. We were playing a lot of shows. We did the college and university circuit for a few years, and we were probably playing, I don't know, maybe 50 shows a year together, like touring, probably more than that. Probably 100.
We were doing quite a bit.
Yeah.
From 2009 to 2012, we did a lot.
Yeah. So that's when we really were like, okay, we're driving to Pennsylvania. You know, it's just the two of us. We're going to be in the car forever. We're not going to have time to eat lunch. Like, things that, you know, this is not a vacation. This is a job, and we'd have to go from one gig to the next. And Shane was still doing oil and gas work at that time. And so I'd be driving.
AKA we weren't making any money.
Yeah.
On the Okie show.
Yeah.
I was hoping to have a real job so we could afford to be there. Otherwise, we were going to be eating ramen noodles the whole time and begging people for gas money.
But I'd be driving, and he'd be in the passenger seat running Tidal on his laptop. And so then we'd get to a gig, and then we'd play, and then we'd get in the car and drive to the next one. Sometimes it'd be, 14 hours away. And it was, obviously a lot of opportunities for arguments to happen. So we, quickly learned what made the other person, push their buttons and how to handle certain situations. So that was before we were married too, the first few years. And so
let me tell you guys, after we got married, it got worse. Just kidding.
That honeymoon period was short, by God.
Everybody's got their game face on until the ring goes on the finger. Just kidding.
Yeah. All the audience is like, they're so in love. It's so romantic.
So it's so funny. Like, fast forward to moving to LA. We were living out there and kind of home. I worked from home with the Landman stuff, and then we were doing music together. And it's funny. I remember people saying, how can you be together? Like, how does that work, being together, like, with your wife, 24/7 in the same house? I'm like, well, when you're married to your best friend, that's pretty easy to do. You know what I mean? It's like we don't have a lot of arguments. I mean, it happens to every couple, but choose wisely would be my advice to someone. Maybe if you're arguing too much, you're not with the right person. I don't know.
Well,
I think that's so true, though, because, I married my best friend, and, there really is something to be said about, not just loving the person that you're with, but liking them.
Absolutely. Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. I would agree.
So, I mean, the last couple of years, we haven't done as near as much touring as we'd like, but our last sort of touring phase was maybe 2017, 18. We were doing a lot then, but we're hoping, when this whole thing blows past, we can get back out there and get back to rocking.
Yeah, we did a little bit last year. We did a Arizona, New Mexico run.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we played in Texas quite a bit. We played in Nashville quite a bit last year. But yeah, not as much as like a release tour, like what we were planning for this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, now I think we transitioned to a place where we both love to be on the road, and it is very freeing, and we really savor it and enjoy it as much as we can, and definitely try to like sightsee as much as we can.
There you go.
In the beginning, we didn't really make as much time for that, 'cause it was always like, okay, get to the next one, go.
We had a booking that was like sort of crazy, man. He was booking stuff where it was like you had maybe 2 hours, of time, just enough to take a shower, get some food, and you got to be there setting up. So
yeah,
pretty crazy.
now we kind of run the show, so we try to allow some fun time as well. And
we got a special guest on the show today.
Oh my goodness, do we have a dog? We have a dog.
Hi, everyone.
I love it. This is 2 Okie Show episodes in a row that we have a guest dog.
He had to come in here and see what was going on.
Oh my goodness, this is the true band manager right here.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, we're running a little over time, but I want you guys to kind of play us out with your single "Thinking About You." Can you set this up for us?
Sure. So this song is a song that I actually wrote for my niece Stella for her 3rd birthday. And I started writing a song, and I kind of played it for Maggie, and I was like, what do you think of this? And, I had it, it was very personal when I started it. And so we opened it up to be a little bit more universal. And it's just a song about, hey, even though we are, I think it goes for anyone, and especially works right now with COVID, families not being able to see each other. But the message of the song is that, I'm there for you. I love you. I'm thinking about you, even though we are miles apart, we're still together. I'm still part of your life and thinking about you. And so that was kind of the inspiration on that song. And we finished it.
I love that.
Bridge and finish it all up.
Yeah, he actually started the song calling it the name of his niece, and we changed it to be Thinking About You instead. I felt like, if it had someone's name in it, that's really special to that person. It's really cool.
But it may not be special to someone else.
Yeah, obviously, unless that's your name.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's been one of our favorite songs off the album so far. And
very Tom Petty influence too in the track, and kind of has that vibe, and just positive feel good song.
Yeah.
So.
I love it. Well, I love your guys' sound. I love everything that you're doing. You guys are killing it. Keep it up. So where can we find you guys online? Before we bid you guys adieu, what's your website? What's your socials?
Our website is imaginariesband.com, and our socials are all at Imaginaries Band. So it's all the same, Imaginaries Band.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank
and
you.
Let's give the audience a good old send out with Thinking About You with the Imaginaries.
Lately, I've been thinking about you, and every little thing you do that makes me smile. Believe me, across my heart I swear, you are an answer prayer, a shining light. I'm counting down the hours till I see you soon. Lately, I've been thinking about you, been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you.
Show. The Okie Show is a mostly harmless media podcast recorded at Tower Studios in Oklahoma City. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. If you're a business or industry professional that would like to advertise on the podcast, email info@okieshowshow.com. Rates starting as low as $25.